It's the yellow Peugeot leading. Winkelhock better start initially, but then got edged out by his teammate Cicotto, and off into the gravel goes newcomer to the series Kurt Team in the yellow Opel, and one of the privateer BMWs. That's Heigert's BMW. Here Audis there, Klaus Nieswitz running towards the back of the field. And here, oh dear, well, he was going to take his time to get used to the car, Kurt Team. And unknown, the Opel Vectra. So Bergstaller and Danner making contact. Well, one hit one and then the other hit him back. Not quite sure exactly where you'd want to place the blame for that one, but the Holzer Opel certainly offered an under disadvantage there. Was that Roland Asch creating all that smoke? Well, no, it was Uwe Alsen. Well, what has created that? Chris Nissen hits Abt. Abt spins. Somebody avoids him. That'll be Menzel. Oh, my goodness me. That's why Uwe Alsen's car's got disarranged door panels, because it's had a substantial thump as he couldn't avoid hitting Christian Abt. Well, Nissen going down the inside of Abt either not seeing it or having none of it. Menzel avoids it all, but thump! Uwe Alsen, did he gather that up? No, he spins. And selects second gear, down the sequential box, pushing the lever forward as hard as he can. Bang, 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 down the gears he goes, because they are all 80 miles an hour in a straight line. Now, if you were following somebody at 160 miles an hour, not more than 2 feet from his back bumper, and suddenly the door dropped off into the road, it would worry you. So, rightly, he's been black flagged as Christian Danner comes to grief, courtesy of Johnny Cicotto, the recovering Danner. Not quite. Finally, he's made a move on Bartels. And so did Asch. Not entirely intentionally, I don't think. Roland Asch almost being forced to have a...
Problems, though, for the two Hondas, who managed to take each other out. Alfred Hager hitting teammate Marco Werner. Werner spun to the inside and ended up not being able to restart. As Philip Peter in the Audi, Ivan Muller in another Audi, and Alfred Hager all together. And in fact, Muller ended up hitting Hager, and that put the other of the two Hondas out. It would prove to be a difficult...
There in third, but he still loses the championship lead. Now what's happening here? Oh, it's Modena in the Alpha. And what a terrible weekend the Alphas have had. And that's Modena's 11-lap sprint well and truly over as he careers off into the gravel. Moving on to third. And all safely through. No, we spoke too soon. Look at that. Oh, dear. Reuter and Nieswitz were the two who hold in the original collision. Brumberger in the Alpha. Poor old Alpha. They had nothing at all to do with that, and it's Brumberger who's collected. Nieswitz, I think he's seen the end of his racing for the day. The rest of them are proceeding, but I don't think there's much doubt that the race is going to have to be stopped as a result of those three cars littering the track. Well, what a shame, because... Aiello had made another great start. Cicotto had got past Werner. 27, you see there, Manuel Reuter. It was Reuter and Nieswitz who actually collided. That was the initial problem, which pushed them around on the circuit. And Brumberger, who actually had nothing at all to do with it and was just minding his own business, is suddenly just collected here. Whoops. Oh, it's just not Alpha's weekend, is it? Let's say all the misfortunes that Modena had when his car was on fire in qualifying, and then he was out of the gravel in the sprint race, and now Brumberger's copped it as well. Just backpedaled slightly. Spinning Audi, can only be Müller. This is Winkelhock. Now he's got the warning from the stewards already. So challenge as well. That was an astonishing move right across the circuit, but one of the BMWs gone and out and spinning into trouble. That's Johnny Cicotto. Cicotto won 2 races. Very, very impressive form. 44, Frank Nieswitz. Well, we've seen him in trouble before. That privateer Audi. Heard the tyre scream, and Bartels is out of the sprint race. The Opel driver, who's not had much of a successful season so far. Best of 8th last time out in the sprint race at Nürburgring, and he'll have nothing to show for his efforts here. It's one of the Alphas that's caught him. I think probably Modena. But again, just the slightest contact, it seems, is pushing these cars well. Niedzwitz is actually going to try and keep going. He's going to limp this back to the pits and be as awkward as he can for everybody else. No, that's beached. Now then, Niedzwitz holding up Werner, Marco Werner. That's Vidali. It was Vidali who just lost it going around the corner, and Cecotto with nowhere to go, but eventually he manages. Alpsen, not quite. Oh, he touches him, just pushes him out, and that's Alpsen falling back down the order. That was Alpsen was really on a charge down into the right-hander. All sorts of bits flying off. I think both cars actually. 60 and Winkelhock 227 for BMW, and then Van Ommen 171 for Peugeot. So Aiello on the left of your picture, Winkelhock on the right as we look down the circuit. They're away on the first lap of this 2.3-kilometre circuit, and that's Winkelhock straight away into the lead, and Aiello is left there shadowing as there's a prang between Menzel, one of the characters, and the left-right. Reuter and Menzel who collide, but there's a bit of a problem earlier than that, because it's Ash who's actually doing the bumping and boring. It's Ash who punts Reuter into Menzel. So that's the way it happened. That's cleared that good. Whoa, Bartel's just getting a tap there from the Nissan and collecting Müller. And Bartels will be looking if he goes any further, because that front Winkelhock leads the way through, and Cecotto this time has made a bit of ground and tried to push out Aiello, and there's Pirro all caught up in it there, and Aiello and Cecotto balk each other. It was a challenge after that. There's the problem. Cecotto actually attacking down the inside, pushing out Pirro. And once again, one of the Nissans deciding it's going to take the shortcut, and there were a couple of other cars as well deciding that they will too. Well, why not? First corner, almost without mishap, and that's Masson and Müller. There you see the Nissan cutting across the bows there of Bartels, and Bartels, this is the view from Alpsen's car. That's Bartels just in front of him. There's the Nissan going across the bows of Bartels. And a whole jumble there. It's Müller that actually comes off worse, as you can probably see best from this angle, because he's just got nowhere to go. And that's Alpsen and Werner. And I think Modena are involved as well. Yes, there's the Alpha. Alpsen, who's in a bit of a spin. So
through all four Audis there running together. And a whole conglomeration of cars caught out, and it looks like Emanuele starting to break away from the others. Now this is what happened in the early stage. That's Pirro, defending champion, #1, and in trouble. He's only been on the podium once this season, and I don't think he's going to make it this time. A real tangle, and the Audis very much involved. They were all running side by side at one stage as they got away. So it's basically been a sprint race sprinkled with little skirmishes all the way up and down the field. 22 going through there, Sascha Masson, and not exactly completing the job. Masson with a spin. I assume that something's broken on the car. Nobody appeared to touch him. Menzel, who's the young BMW driver of the year, and this is Klaus Niedzwitz in the Audi, privateer Audi, and he's completely rearranged the front end and gets out. I don't think he's suffering. I think it's not physically anyway. It's probably just a bit of pride, I think. This is what happened to him, and I don't think that that's something gone on the car. He's hit the barriers, quite an impact there. The front been ripped off. It was Abtu who came through and gave him a gentle tap, and that was the end of Niedzwitz's race. And you see, it's actually bent the barriers. It's such a disappointing season for Christian Danner and the Alphas. This is what happened to Werner. Did he get a flat? his left rear. I think he probably did. Looked very low anyway. And great work by Menzel. See here. Whoops, just held it. Just enough. Distance back in 4th place, and then comes Van Ommen in 5th. Oh, Pirot. Well, he was already in trouble before he decided to demolish the chicane that he disliked so much. Well, ways of demonstrating your point, but I think that was probably a bit drastic.
Van Ommen being bundled all the way down the order. Just like a NASCAR race, hung out to dry as they go 4 and 5 wide on the back straight. And there was the muscular move that put Laurent Ayew into the lead. Down among the midfield, or the tail enders in fact, the Alpha Gaggle. Leopold von Bayern's BMW finds itself heavily racing his championship lead here, but just by a fraction. Danny File finding the 155 braking system not quite as efficient as he had hoped there. But more importantly for Peugeot, much more importantly for Peugeot, Laurent Ayew needs to get past. Oh dear, one of the Hondas is off. One of the Hondas is off. And that's Alfred Hager. Hager has put a wheel onto the dirt on the outside, coming onto the start-finish line. It spat the car off into a track in his Honda. Bounces backwards into the barriers and rattles along the grass for a moment or two. And the car damaged, but out of the way. Not a problem for the BMW. Understeer for the front-wheel driver cars. Oh dear, Marco Werner gets spun out. Winkelhock started 9th, now running alongside the 7th place car, down into 8th. He's got an Opel and an Audi inside him. This is tough times for Jochen Winkelhock. Christian Danner lasted 34 laps in the Vancouver kart race, has lasted 2 corners. No surprise to see them ahead. Emanuele Pirot, I think it is, gets spun round. It is Emanuele Pirot, the reigning champion. Well, they went. Cecotto looking to take 2nd place here if he can't win, and he knows he can't because Winkelhock must if his car continues. Johnny wants to be in 2nd place. Riding with Michael Bartels. Look at the lock that Menzel has got on. He knows that he can't lift off there. He has to keep on the power and try and steer out of it. Menzel has got on. He knows that he can't lift off there. He has to keep on the power and try and steer out of it. Get this incident with Laurent Ayew and Christian Menzel. And the concern there of the Bugatti team, Michael Bartels and Menzel, and now accelerating hard all the way out onto the main straight. And a long drag now in the slipstream. Marco Werner's Honda in the gravel. Oh dear for Werner. Oh, Van Ommen with a problem. Van Ommen with a problem. Has he hit the barriers? He looked as though he had a very bad tracking wheel on the right-hand side. And could it be legacy of contact, perhaps, with Marco Werner's Honda? Well, there's the Honda, and yes, there was a flash of yellow. I would say that he made contact right behind him, and James Thompson there in the mix. So Thompson in 6th place, and all over the grass go a handful of cars. One of the TV Spielfilm Alphas. It looks like Christian Danner there. And is that Sascha Massen? Yes, Sascha Massen means less grip from colder tyres. Christian Abt, and is that Sascha Massen going off again? Yes, I think it is. Teammate Roland Ash in the other Nissan we saw earlier. Massen already spun his car in the middle of the field in the first race. That is